guys, it's Kara from NK Book Reviews, and as you can see, it's just me today. And that's because Nia and I are doing two separate videos for the week, and it's going to be very exciting. So I hope you check them both out. Well, you're on my video, so I hope you stay, and I hope you check out Nia's video when it comes out. So today I will be doing a tier ranking video, and I will be tier ranking all the book series I've read. The thing is that the ones that I have, not many of them are popular, so you will probably not recognize them because I still consider myself new to the book fandom. Although I've been reading since I was like crawling, the I didn't have a wide range of like books, and most of these books are either romance YA or like childhood books that I want to revisit and see what I remember. So maybe it'll bring some of you back to your childhood, but I want to do this video in a year and see how my reading style has changed, and maybe I'll change the ranking because I found way better books or something like that. But we will see. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at all the tiers we have. So the first tier is God tier. That's kind of self explanatory. It's the best one, 5 stars. It's super enjoyable, and I probably reread it already. The next tier is Great tier. It's another really good one, and I also probably reread the books, or I would reread them if I had the time. And they're usually like 4.5, like close to 5 stars, like really good. Good is like it's a book that I might not revisit, but I would recommend to somebody. I would recommend a book to them that was in the good tier. Not so good means I probably won't revisit it. It's not memorable. It's it's not really a book I would talk about. Trash tier means don't even like it's not even. I'm never gonna go back to it. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is Princess Diaries series. I don't think people talk about this that much. I mean, people talk about the movies, which are very good movies. But I really like this series. I reread it twice, and that's saying a lot, although it's just twice. It's a long series, and I really like the books. So I would put this in great. Twilight is very. I've only read book one, but I wanted to include it because I have not seen a tier ranking series without Twilight in it, and just had to mention that the first book was trash. I want to say that I would revisit and reread maybe and read the rest just because I usually like to finish a whole series, but it's just so bad that I can't. I just can't. And I mean, I know it's popular, and I want to in a year be able to read all the popular ones to kind of relate to you guys more, but Twilight is kind of an exception. Next up is kind of like a standalone series, but I had to include it because it's Casey West. She is so good at doing romance. She just makes them so enjoyable and fun. And these have 3 books. There's Love, Life, and the List, Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss, and I believe Moment of Truth is the third one. It actually came out this year in March. This one I would say is great, especially Love, Life, and the List. The first book was really good. The other two are also very enjoyable. They're not as good, but I just love Casey West's writing. So I think she's really good, and I would put this in great tier. This one is another Casey West, and It's not as popular. I think it's the first book she ever did. First book series she ever did. There are only two, and I just remember enjoying them. Like they were pretty good. I would put them in good. I would recommend them because I don't think KZUS gets recognized for them. And it's like it's not just romance. I think it's also kind of fantasy-ish, but I enjoyed them. I remember enjoying them. So I would put that in good tier. We have Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's a childhood one. I like skim through them, and I personally prefer Dork Diaries, mostly because I don't know something about me and girly stuff. I always got into that stuff a little more. And Diary of a Wimpy Kid was good. Um, it was good. It was good when I was a kid. I never actually watched the movies. I know, surprising, but I've never really watched the movies. Um, but the books were good. I would recommend them. I would say they're fun. They're fun for kids to read. I would say you could read Diary of a Wimpy Kid and enjoy it, no matter what age. Next up, we have Anna and the French Kiss, and that series was also they were also like standalones, but the characters were like in the same world and all of that. Um, I really enjoyed this. I would put them in great. They were very popular. They're really popular romance books, and they're popular for a reason. They're very good, and I really like them. So yeah, great tier. This is another childhood one. Whatever after, great. It's great. It is so fun. They're really small books, but they're so like they're fun little retellings. It's like fun to see what happens when you go into a fairy tale and you change one thing. And it's nice. It's like it was my favorite, and I think they're still making books. Like they're doing that with Diver Won't Be Kid as well, but pretty surprised that they're still making whatever after books. Um, I think they're on like 14, 15, maybe 16. I don't know, but they're really enjoyable, and I actually started to reread them. I'm on book two. It's just because I miss whatever after. I gave away my books, a lot of my nice childhood books, like whatever after, and I really loved whatever after. So this is definitely a great tier book series. Delirium series. Nia and I had actually planned to make the Delirium series our first book review, but they weren't good enough for Nia to finish, and she hasn't finished the second book yet. There are three books. She only finished book one. Um, I would say I would I would put it in not so good. Okay, a lot of people like it. It's kind of between good and not so good. It's like it's just I had to like force myself to finish them. Like how Nia couldn't finish. I almost couldn't finish. But they got a little bit better at the end. So I think if there was something in between, I would put good and not so good. But that's where it is. This one is So Zoe series. It's another childhood one. I absolutely I really liked them. And actually, when I read this series, it made me want to become a fashion designer. That is not still the case because my creativity is not that good, but I I would put it in good. It's pretty good. Um, I would probably revisit them, and I would say, like for kids, I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it. This is another romance. It's called the Hundred Oaks series. I don't think it's very popular, but they were great. They were fun. They were fun books, and I would probably reread them. If I had the time, I would go back and reread them. Definitely, for sure. This is another childhood book series. I'm still reading them though. So, Babysitters Club, If there was something between God and great, I'd put them in great. No, not God, great. Like they're graphic novels, so I would like reread them a lot. And I'm reading them to my little sister right now, actually. But they're not like absolute best of all time, but I put them pretty high up there. They're really enjoyable, and I was sad when they changed the artist in the middle of the series because now all the characters look different, and I like the first one better. Raina Telgemeier, I think her name is. I don't think I pronounced that right, but I sorry about that. But I liked her like drawings better, but the books are still really good. This is another childhood one, Cupcake Diaries. It's definitely in great. I have a lot in great. I don't know if I'm gonna put any more in not so good or trash, but we will see. At least I have one in each. Well, not yet. I know what I'm gonna put in God tier, so I'll have some books in God tier. But anyways, Cupcake Diaries was super fun. I really loved them. They're really small and they're like 30 something books, probably more like 40 something now. I think they're still writing them. They were really fun to read. I would reread them and I would definitely read them to my little sister. Um, they were fun. They remind me of Babysitter's Club, which is why I'd put them in the same level. This is Wrath in the Dawn. This is a YA series. I put in good. I think my friend would be not great. I'd put them in good. My friend would probably be a little disappointed because one of my friends absolutely loves this series. It's her absolute favorite of all time. It was not bad. Like it was captivating, but I got confused for a lot of it. So I that kind of took away the magic of it for me. There's actually this is not sponsored, but the app Webtoon that does different comics, it's a really good app. They made one for the Wrath and the Dawn and it's very good. So I would recommend it. And I would recommend The Wrath and the Dawn. It's a very interesting book. The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is in good tier. I don't think I would reread this, but it's it's not bad. I would recommend if you like Jenny Han and you liked All the Boys I Loved Before, I think you'd like the Summer I Turned Pretty series as well. I just don't see myself rereading. Maybe I would like everything in good tier. I think I would probably revisit, but like they're not absolute best. Next we have the selection. It's God tier. God tier. I can't get it up. Oh my gosh. Okay. There it is. God tier. It is just amazing. I'm doing a readathon with the selection right now, and I'm so excited because I wanted to reread. I reread the series twice. Well, one, I just listened to the audiobooks, and I don't even do audiobooks, which tells you that the selection is very good. And I mean, it gets some hate, and it's always known as it's a good YA series, but it's God tier for me, at least. It's God tier for me. Um, Definitely recommend the selection. And part of the reason why I wanted to read the selection so much was because of the covers. Just look at it. It's so pretty. And the books were really great. The last two books weren't as good, but the book Happily Ever I can't speak today. The book Happily Ever After and the trilogy, the selection, the elite and the one, the first three books were so amazing. I definitely put it in God tier. And I hope we can do a review for the whole series soon because I really enjoy the books and I'd love to talk about them a little more. Love and Gelato, I put it in great. I don't remember much of it. I don't remember much of it, but I would say it's pretty great. I remember enjoying them a lot, and the third book is coming out in November, and I'm very excited. So that will have to be a reread for me because I remember liking them, but I don't remember much about the other two. And although they're kind of standalones, I still revisit. Everyday Series by David Levithan. Um, we have a video coming up, and I accidentally said Leviathan, but I apologize. It's actually David Levithan, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but there's no, it's not Levia, it's just Levi. Um, but anyways, Everyday Series. I just finished the last book last night, and it was so bad. Like, but I would put it in not so good just because I liked the first book so much. I enjoyed it a lot. The second, the other two books were so unnecessary. Like, I just, it should have just been one book. But I put it in not so good just because it can be redeemed because of the first book. We also have Undercover Princess, God tier. God tier. It is, so you can see we have some royal comparisons here. You can tell I like to read a lot of royal books. Please recommend me any royal book series or books that you think are very good because I really enjoy them. Undercover Princess is God tier, and I can't wait for book four. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out soon, and I'm super excited. It was so good. And there's like some sort of lesbian romance. I don't know, but I like, and she's very, and I like the way she writes it because you're not sure if it's something and you want to see what happens next. So I hope at the end it does work out for the two girls, but I really, really, really like Undercover Princess. Shatter Me is also God tier. Shatter Me gets a lot of hate. Some people think it's trash, and some people think it's God tier. I think that it's like a hit or miss. You either really love it or you really hate it. But I really love Shatter Me, and I'm really excited because I ordered all the books and they're coming soon. Well, the two like novella books are coming today, and the five books are coming tomorrow. And I didn't get the sixth book because it's only available in hardcover since it's new. Paperback's not out till February, and so I'm just going to wait. Just going to wait until it comes out in February, and then I'll have all of them paperback. But yes, Shatter Me is God tier. I just love like the drama. The drama is intense, and I love books like that because Shatter Me is the last book in a while that I have had to close the book and breathe because of how big the drama was and how unexpected. And I really, really enjoyed Shatter Me. Definitely God tier for sure. I suggest you guys check it out because although it's a hit or miss, I want to see opinions. And yeah, the main character, people don't like the main character, and I have to agree she wasn't the best, but just the plot and Kenji just made the book so good. It just kind of saved it. And the main character was good enough to not make this book like trash. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Shatter Me. Definitely God. Next, we have a series of unfortunate events. Ugh, I really, really liked this one. Great. It's very good. It's a big series, and I actually have all the books. And I really, really enjoy this. It's so good. Um, there's a show, and I really like the show too. Some people don't like it, but personally, Series of Unfortunate Events is a unique series, and I don't know anything else like it. If you do, let me know in the comments. But this is definitely very good series that I would revisit for sure. We have Divergent. Divergent is Divergent. I would. Like a year ago, I would have said God tier, but now I would say good. I used to like it a lot more. Now I'm like, I don't know if I would reread it. I read the book twice, but I don't know if I would reread it because it's now like kind of, to me, it's not something I would go back to. Like God and Great Tier, just looking back at these make me want to reread them so much. So that's why they're there, but Divergent isn't exactly in that level. So I would say good. Good tiers for we have Nancy Drew next. Huh. I'm looking here and I'm kind of thinking because I think I'd put it in great. It's very, very enjoyable. I never finished them and I was collecting all the books. And I mean, I moved and I had to give away a lot of these books that I'm looking back at and I'm like, I wish I could have kept. So it's making me kind of sad. But Nancy Drew was super good. They make so many different kinds of Nancy Drew books now. But this one, this cover, that was the best one for me. I really loved it. Definitely great. School for Good and Evil, God tier, for sure. I only read I only read the first three books. I think there are three more now. The sixth book, I think it's out now. And there's gonna be a movie. I forgot to mention that about the selection. There's going to be a movie for the selection. And I'm so, so, so happy. And I'm so happy about School for Good and Evil being a movie too. And I actually saw this like fan made cover for a School for Good and Evil movie, and they had Sabrina Carpenter as Sophie, and she's Sabrina Carpenter is one of my favorite like singers, actresses, everything. And she looked so perfect as Sophie, and I would love to see her do that. We'll see who they cast, but I'm excited for the School for Good and Evil and the selection being movies. I kind of wish that School for Good and Evil would be a show and the selection as well. But I can understand some things they have to decide, and they decided on movie, and I'm not complaining. So that's great. I also wish Shatter Me was a show. I heard they were supposed to make it a show, but that never happened. So I'm kind of sad. Hopefully it happens. But yeah, School for Good and Evil's God's here, and I actually really want to reread the books now. So, and I want to read the other three as well. They're big books, but unlike Twilight, they're big books and they are really good. So it doesn't matter the size of the books. This is the Field Party series by Abby Glines. She is really good at romance. I don't know. Between God and Great, I can't decide because I really like I think I might just put this in God tier. That might be surprising, but I really enjoyed those books. And I liked how every character was different. Like they were kind of standalones. Well, I would say you should read them in order because every book followed a different football guy. And then the girls, there would be new girls, old girls, whatever. They all had something different about them that made the books so interesting. And I really like them. I actually surprised I decided on God tier, but yeah, I think I would put them in God tier. And I think there's a new one coming out this year, and I'm really excited for that. So definitely God tier for that. Land of Stories, God tier. I could rave about Land of Stories all day. I love the Land of Stories. I'm getting so emotional. They're just books, but Land of Stories is so amazing, and they're supposed to make a movie for that too, but I don't think it's happening anymore. I don't know what it is with all my god tier books. Like supposed to have movies or shows and it doesn't happen. So I hope Selection and School for Good and Evil actually make their movies. But The Land of Stories is so amazing. I'm glad I took those books with me instead of gave them away because they're amazing. And Chris Colfer, the author of The Land of Stories, has a new series, A Tale of Magic. The first book is really good. It's up it's at the level with The Land of Stories, and I didn't add it here because the second book isn't out yet, but I'm sure I will love it because Chris Colfer is really amazing at writing, and Land of Stories is so good. It's so good. I could talk about it all day, but I will not spare the time. Did I mention I Love You is God tier? That is a very, very good romance series. I absolutely love that, and I really want to reread that. I have a huge TBR list, and I'm trying not to go back to these God tier ones, but it's just so hard not to go back. Did I mention I Love You is such a sweet series. It's definitely God tier for me. Dork Diaries is also whew, Dork Diaries is difficult because I still get the books, and this was my series, my childhood series. I still read them. There's one coming out this year, and I'm excited for it. And this series like made me love books. But I think I would put it in grade. They're better than Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but I don't want to put it in God tier anymore. Like my reading taste has changed, and I think it will change next year as well if I read some more of the popular books like Hunger Games, maybe even Harry Potter, Cassandra Clare, Sarah J. Maas, all those authors. I think I will read all those book series and then I will do this again. But I am changing the subject. Dork Diaries is a very amazing childhood series of mine, and I still get the books, and I'm surprised they're still going on because the next book takes place in summer. She's been in eighth grade for 15 books now. So I don't know if afterwards they're gonna do like a high school YA, but I I really want that. I really want like a high school YA of Nikki and like just following her high school experience because it'll kind of be like we'll be getting through it together in a way because I'm starting high school this year. But yes, Dark Diaries is great, great tier. I will reread them and they're really good. Gossip Girl. I have included Gossip Girl here. I just recently started the show and I read the first two books and I would put it so far, it's great. It's very fun. They're very enjoyable books and I broke the rule that I usually keep, which is to read the books before I watch the show or movie. But I'm kind of doing them at the same time because Gossip Girl show is leaving Netflix at some point and will be probably joining, I think it's joining HBO Max. And I don't have HBO Max, and people love Gossip Girl, and I want to watch it before it leaves, and I don't know when that is. So that's why I'm reading the books and watching the show. But it's great so far. They're very fun, easy reads. Yeah, for sure. Keeper of the Lost Cities. It's not so good. I read the books are really big. The reason why I didn't put it in trash is because the books are really big and I was able to keep going, keep reading them. There's so many of them and I think I read like the first four-ish or something. But I DNF'd one of the books because I couldn't finish it. They were just I don't know, confusing. It's like it's trying to be the land of stories, but isn't. This might be an unpopular opinion for people who like this kids book series. Um, but Land of Stories and Keeper of the Lost Cities can't even compare. Keeper of the Lost Cities is not so good, and maybe I would give it another chance, but I doubt it. Pretty Little Liars. I read the whole series in seventh grade before watching the show. and the show was about to leave Netflix as well. And thank goodness I watched the show and finished. But Pretty Little Liars is also great. I really, I think the show is actually better. Something about the books are underwhelming, but I actually got them from the library because I want to reread. So yeah, it's great tier. They're really fun and they kept me on the edge of my seat all the time, as did the show. It's Pretty Little Liars. It's thriller. Um, but yeah, it's great tier for me. To All the Boys I Loved Before series is great. They're really fun books. I actually like the movies more, but just talking about them really makes me want to reread them. As you can see, I have a problem because I want to reread all my favorite books and never get to other books that I've been recommended or other books that are on my TBR. But To All the Boys I Loved Before series is really good. I really love it. I don't think it's God tier. Like, I don't think it's as good as the ones that I have in God tier, but it's very good, and I would reread them. I actually reread them, and I'm going to reread the third book before the third movie comes out this year, and I really love the books, so definitely great. These last two are two childhood books that I got. I got these both as gifts. No, I think I got Mermaid Tales and Whatever After the second book as gifts in kindergarten because I was pretty advanced reader, not to brag, but I was a pretty advanced reader and I got them as a like kindergarten graduation gift from my cousin. And these were great. These were great. Um they were really fun. I really loved them and I would reread them. They're really small. Like this Mermaid Tales, Whatever After, Cupcake Diaries are small books. They're really quick reads. At the time, felt like they were long and there was a lot of drama in one book. But now that I go back, I'm like, they weren't that big. But a lot of kids' books aren't that big because they might be a little more overwhelming. But yes, Mermaid Tales is in great tier. Last but not least, we have The Tale of Emily Windsnap. I read, I think, the first three books of them. I still have all the books, but looking back, I'm not sure. Because the first book was great when I was a kid. The other books were also good. I feel like, but I don't want to put it with Keeper of the Lost Cities. So I would say good. I would say they're good. I would maybe go back. I would maybe go back to them. Um, but I don't know for sure if I would like. I was. They were all right, but they were. They could have been. They could have been better. Maybe they did get better, but I never finished the series, so I'm not sure. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be probably making another one of these a year from now, doing more YA books. But this was kind of like a trip down memory lane for me because I read a lot of fun little book series when I was a kid, and it was fun to do this video. I always wanted to do a tier ranking video. But comment down below if you want to see another one with maybe something else, or if you want to see a tier ranking video of more YA books. But make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below any recommendations for books, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.